get the wheels running again. So first thing that I would love for you to think about, if you're scared to sell, if you're scared to sell and you're struggling with the idea of being a marketer, or being salesy, that's the word I keep trying to say. If you're struggling with the idea of being salesy, first of all, go back to why you started being creative or why you started to make this thing in the first place. If it's music, if it's art, if it's your book, why did you want to do it in the first place? Was it just for you? Was it just to be seen by you? Was it just for you and your mom and your dad and your children? Was it only supposed to be for you? Because if that's the case, some of you may be creating stuff that isn't for the world, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with creating just for yourself. But if you created something that is supposed to impact the world or is supposed to help people, then you kind of have an obligation to share it. Because here's the thing, I always go back to the parable of the talents. Those of you who know, Jesus talked about the parable of the talents, and that was where one man got five and one man got two and one man got one. And he did the master in the parable. We still call them masters. I know people are weird about the word master, but that's the owner. Let's say that, okay? So the owner was going out on a long journey. He gives one person 5 talents. He gives one person 2 talents, and he gives one person 1 talent. They all work for him. And they said, at that time, they said, well, I got this. I need to use it. So one guy uses his 5 talents and he makes another 5, and one guy uses his 2 talents and he makes another 2, whether that's investment or whatever they did in the ancient times. That's what they did. And the one person, you guys who know the Bible story know that he took his talent and he hid it in the ground, and the talent was actually money in that day. It represented money. And what it represented was that person was scared of what would happen if he shared or built on what he was given. So his goal was to protect it. Don't let anybody see it. Don't let anybody know that he had a responsibility. Just kind of like hide it in the ground. And those of you who know the Bible study know that the person who was reprimanded was that 1 talent hiding kind of Christian, creative person, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call him. He hid his talent. Because he hid his talent, he was reprimanded, and actually, in a way, it was a very strong rebuke, and he lost out on a lot because he didn't get a chance to. He wasn't allowed. He didn't take the chance. He didn't take a chance. He didn't want to risk being seen in any sort of way. He says, "Oh, your master, you were a hard man. I didn't want to offend anyone, so I hid my talent." So if you are scared to sell, first I want to ask you, are you that person, that the 1 talent who is scared of what people will perceive or what your person in your life will perceive you as if you begin to share your gift or share it? And this is key, share it for money, share it to sell, share it to promote it, share it so that it can make money so that you can make more of what you make. Because remember, the goal, unless you are out here just trying to make $1 billion, your goal is not usually to get rich. Your goal is to make enough money that you can actually live on what you make and make more of what you make. So, yeah, I see you, Kingdom Creative. I think that's Jesse, if I remember correctly, your username. That's one of my favorite parables for what you do. Yes, thank you so much for that. That's so key that this biblical principle applies across the board, no matter what we do, but especially to creatives. As creatives, if you are not sharing your gift, if you're not building on what you build, you're really doing a disservice to the gift that God put on your life, and he wants a return. He wants to see an investment. But again, some people are like, "Oh, well, I'm a Christian. I'm working for God. God should get the glory. I don't want to get anything out of it. I just want to give it away." Well, if you give it away, that's great. That's a blessing that you can give what you can without pay. But there's also a limit, because there's only so much you're going to be able to give without creating more of it. And the only way you're going to create more of it is if you have resources to make more of whatever it is, whether it be to make it better with resources like music or photography or cameras or videos or laptops or musical instruments or whatever it is. If you want to make more of it, you're going to need more resources. And if you decide not to sell and not to, nonprofits notwithstanding, if you're scared to sell because you're afraid of what people will think of you, you're also saying no to the person that gave you the gift. No, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to build it. I'm not going to show it to anybody, because now it's almost like a false humility that you're nervous, more scared of what people will think than what the people that gave you the gift will think, and the people that are investing in you will think. You're caring more about the people that you haven't even seen yet and worried about what they will think versus the people that actually are investing in you. Number one, God, and number two, the people who believe in you and who would give you money for you to solve a problem. I've heard this, and I've kind of like adapted this phrase for my own purposes, that your profit comes where your problem meets somebody else's, your ability to solve a problem meets somebody else's problem. And then they're willing to pay you to solve their problem. And that problem may not be, I need plumbing or I need a roof fix. Their problem might be, I need to be inspired. I need to be encouraged. I need a good song. I need to dance. I need to be energized by a painting. I need some substance in my life. I need direction. You solve a problem with a product, and that product then should bring you a profit. The profit is not, though, because you wanted the profit. The profit is because you solved the problem. And it's just the way that the other person makes it possible for you to solve more problems. The only way you can solve more problems is if you get something for your work and then you continue to sell it and produce it and promote it. Is this making sense? I hope this is making sense to anybody that's watching again on replay. This is going to be a short creative checkup because I just wanted to jump in and make sure that I started once again doing these creative checkups. There will be Fridays most likely going forward, and Fridays most likely around 3 o'clock Eastern, and that makes it 12 o'clock Pacific. And I think that'll still fit in our lunchtime goal to kind of match around lunchtime or so later for obviously the East Coast. But I think that'll work out for the entire gamut, as many people as we can reach during the day. And I always try to make it like a lunch afternoon break, because I know a lot of you may be going out for gigs tonight, might be playing, might be performing, might be going to other events. And then those of you who are watching during lunchtime, you may, obviously be time to get back to work if you're working a 9 to 5. So in conclusion, this is a short one. Like I said, I want to make sure that you are not scared to sell because you are scared of what people will think. My advice to you, if you're scared to sell, is to, number one, take a small bet on yourself and just try something small. Maybe you are the first time promoting yourself and you feel like, oh, I can't offer this for money. Well, if you feel like you're scared to offer something for money, why don't you first try it as a trial? Try saying to someone like, you know what, I would love to give you something for free. And if you like it for free, then you can pay me for the next one. This works for memberships. This could be like a buy one, get one free kind of thing, where you say, oh, take a sample of this. And if you like this one, then I'll send you the next one for X amount of dollars. You can do like little things with like, again, a product sample or a song sample. And then you just get used to the idea of, okay, if I offer this for free and they want it, and they said, you know what, I like more of it, then I can then offer it for cost, and then start to get used to the idea of selling. So a trial is always a good way to get yourself kind of into the flow of giving value to something, because it's worth something, but then you say, okay, well, for now I'm going to start it in a trial basis, and then once I see there's a little bit of an emphasis or a little bit of demand, then I will go ahead and start selling it, and that gives you kind of like an on-ramp into selling. Another object or another way to another objection to selling is, oh, well, I don't want to be, always on social media and always, every time people see me, they see I want to buy stuff. Again, ease yourself into it. Don't post every single time about what you need to sell or your book or your music. Instead, make it something where it becomes a natural part of the conversation. When you start to talk about something that you're selling, don't talk about the thing. Talk about either how you made the thing or how the thing makes you feel, or how the thing evolved. Talk about the behind the scenes, about what is happening in your life. And then as you talk about that thing, start to say, well, by the way, this thing is for sale, or this thing is something that I'm doing. It's a project I'm working on. I would love for you to support it or buy it because this will do this for you. And there's a key thing about the sales thing. You have to make it about them. Don't make it about you. Don't make it about something that you have to offer, that you want out of it. Make it about what it's going to do for them. If it's a song, don't say, oh, this song is so amazing. Just remind them, if you need to pick me up, if you need to feel good about yourself today, this is a positive song. I want you to have this because it will do this for you, or because I want you to have this this is what you'll get out of it. Instead of making it about you and making it introspective and me, make it about the person. And then you feel more like you're giving versus taking, because you're offering them a chance to get a solution to their problem. That will create a more positive mindset around what you are selling. And one big thing about this, you got to tell yourself that if you believe in your project, you believe in your stuff, you're helping someone by giving them the chance to invest in themselves and bet on themselves and give themselves something to plant seed into. If you don't do that, they never have the opportunity to bless themselves by putting something into themselves. You know, people say this, if they're not paying attention. We pay more attention to the things we pay for. We put more emphasis on the things that cost us something. And so by not making it free, by making it cost something, you're actually helping the people to understand the value of what they can achieve, what they can do, because they're putting their money where their mouth is. Especially if it's a course or if it's a training or something like that that you're selling, give them a chance to bet on themselves. Don't give them an out to not be able to spend money where they should be spending money. Same thing applies to art, music, anything else. If they need this, give them an opportunity to put themselves on the line and say, you know what, I'm going to make that decision. I'm going to get that thing. I'm going to buy that thing because I know this is right for me. If you don't sell it, you end up giving them no chance to actually bet on themselves, to bless themselves, to put an investment in something that they believe in. And I know you probably never thought of it that way, but I want you to think of it that way. What are you missing out on? Or what are they missing out on because you're scared to sell? You're removing an opportunity for somebody else to get blessed and really understand what they are doing and how they can bless others. So I hope that made sense. I'm going to go ahead and jump off now because, again, this was just a kind of starter creative checkup to get me back into the flow of doing this. And if you're watching this on a replay, 3 things you can do that would really help, by the way, to help us continue as I talk about this project. 1, you can subscribe to the channel. I didn't mention that at the outset. But if you're watching this on replay, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you could also simply go to Facebook and like this page. And that way you would also get the notifications when we go live. And make sure you click the thing where it says notifications go live. Number 2, you can check out our podcast. We just released a podcast yesterday on all podcast networks. You can subscribe and review that. That would be awesome because that will provide even more connection to our community and what we're teaching each week. So that podcast is called The God and Gig Show. And the 3rd thing you could do is definitely, I would consider this like one of the best things, is share this with somebody else who is scared to sell. Share this little video that I made. Let them know, hey, I get it. You've got a lot going on. You're scared to like push this out. You don't want to be seen as salesy, but I believe in you. Send them this video, send them a little chat, send them a tweet with this particular video where I just introduced this concept. It'll be very easy for them to watch. You know, I'm very non-judgmental in this. They're not going to think like I'm coming at them all hard. Let them know that there's people like me and people like you who believe in them, and send them this video so that they can know that they should not be scared to sell, that they are actually investing in themselves and investing in other people by putting their work out there. So I hope that blessed you and helped you. If that did, I appreciate it, Kingdom Creative. I appreciate you, Jason, and everybody else that checked in. But if you're watching on the replay, once again, this was just our reintroduction to our Creative Checkups. We're going to start doing this more often on Fridays, and I will definitely get the schedule out to you guys so you'll know when we'll be going live, okay? Until next time, God bless. Take care.